Okay.
Sounds
I
good.
I want to thank everybody for coming to Summer Support Sundays with Carolyn Barnes here, and she's going to take it away. She's a clinical hypnotherapist, nationally recognized wellness expert, and she's dedicated 6 sessions. This is the second of six. We have a recording of the first if you didn't get a chance to see that. But I'm going to give it to Carolyn and just thank everybody for coming out on a Sunday.
Yeah, thank you. And so whoever else is coming in, it's great to see your faces, and I understand if you want to keep your screen off, but let's just take a moment here. And I want you to imagine something. I'm going to take you on a little ride. Imagine you're in a car and the doors are locked, the gas pedal is floored, and there's no steering wheel. You'd feel pretty out of control and it would feel real scary, right? This is exactly what happens when we let our mind go running without checking our thoughts, right? Our mind gets hijacked into these automatic loops and then we speed down rabbit holes. And the next thing you know, we're overwhelmed or we're shutting down or we're increasing anger or frustration. And so today we're going to learn how to stop it. We're going to stop that loop from spiraling and we're going to learn how to grab the wheel back essentially as Nancy Morrison is here in her own car with the steering wheel, right? Because in a moment I'm going to share with you the biggest secret. When I learned this, it really helped, but it's the biggest secret to eliminating negative thinking. And once you understand it, just by understanding it alone, you're going to eliminate 75% of the negative thinking. But first, thank you for the introduction. I'm Carolyn Barnes. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist. I help people rewire their response to stress. Because 10 years ago, when I was a health coach for ABC television, I nearly lost my life to chronic stress multiple times. And so, before we dive into a formula that really changed my life, and I've been teaching this formula to really thousands of people, and the results have been remarkable. So before we dive into this formula, I want you to just take a moment and we're going to check in. And just on a scale from 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest of stress, just rate your current stress, the first number that comes to mind. First number, don't think about it, just first number, and then put it aside. And once you have that number and you put it aside, if it's safe, Nancy, don't do this yet, but close your eyes and see if you could begin to scan your body just from the top of your head all the way down to the tips of your toes. And I wonder if you can notice where you're holding any tension right now and without any judgment, but just with observation. Just observe the tension. And now breathe into that part that might feel tight. And as you breathe in and you exhale out into that area, I wonder if you could become aware of what's happening in your body and just notice which part begins to let go. Just even if it's a little bit. Because most of the time we don't need to fix anything. Just notice what it's like to pause, right? Just pause and see if you can become aware of which part of your body is starting to soften. And once you notice, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, eyes open wide awake and back of the room in the space. And just notice, just for a moment, and from this more centered place, imagine what your life would be like if we still had these same problems and challenges that we're all facing, but without overthinking, without the anxiety or the overwhelm or that pressure, that grip in the body. Because, like I said, I discovered a process that allows you to overcome overthinking, release the resistance, and achieve clarity. And it's a lot quicker. It's very simple. It's very powerful. And it's 2 words, and it's stop it, which may seem like a little joke, but it's something that my mother used to say to me. And every time she was noticing when I was upset, she'd yell, "Stop it, Carolyn, go put your feelings in a drawer and then come talk to me." And I was a very literal kid. I'd go to my room, I'd shove my head in my underwear drawer and I'd cry. And I would be like, I don't know how this is supposed to help me, because it didn't. It stopped my emotions in front of my mother, but it never stopped uh, the emotion from being processed properly. And as a result, my body learned how to hold on. And this is something that most of us do. And we don't learn how to create safety in our body. And it's a nervous system thing. And I don't know about you, but most of us were taught to shove it down or get over it, stop crying. Or what's worse is, what are you crying about? Why are you so upset? Right? And think about a kid, a child. Why are you crying? Why are you so upset? Oh, I don't know. You know, they start because what it does is it amplifies everything. It amplifies the pain, right? So what I really want you to hear right now, and this is something we all do, why is just a pattern we learned. And this is the go-to when we are in distress. Why? And then we go right to problem solving. But why is it not the antidote to relief? Acknowledgement is. Acceptance of what's happening is. So just go on a little walk with me. Imagine, you're on a hike and you're with somebody who gets a stick jammed in their leg. You're not going to go, why? Right? You're going to remove the stick. They're in pain. You're going to soothe the wound, because it really doesn't matter why in the moment. What matters is there's pain and it's real and it needs attention. It doesn't need an explanation. And so the truth is, most of us were never taught how to do that. Instead, we're taught to shove everything down, or to stop crying, or to get over it, or to fix it, or to prove ourselves, right? Or to smile and pretend that everything's fine. But emotions don't just disappear. They get stored, they get trapped in the body, they stay stuck, and they show up as overthinking. They show up as stress, as tension, as anxiety, or self-sabotage. And this is what happens when we don't properly release, because there's an emotional energy in the body, and the brain tries to solve that energy, that disruption, through thinking their way through it. And here's the thing: thoughts don't relieve the pressure in the body. Presence does, awareness does, right? And so here's what I found. When we know how to meet our emotional needs in the exact right way that's just right for us, because nobody knows us better than you know you. And when we learn how to meet these needs, well, you never feel alone. You always feel supported, and you create safety in the body, and you create self-trust. And this is like radical self-acceptance. And I'm telling you, it is friggin' amazing when you learn how to do this and you practice doing this. It's unbelievable what you can then start creating for yourself, because we're not here to defend ourselves in life. We're not here to think about our problems and to be on overdrive. We're here to create, right? So before I walk you through the most important shift that I discovered, one that eliminates this battle, I'm going to ask you a really bizarre question. How is the desk the mother of the chair? How is the desk, and you can put it in the chat if you want. How is the desk the mother of the chair? Just think about it. Some people might think that the desk is older, but that's not the answer. Or maybe you could put the chair underneath the desk and it could cover it, but that's not the answer. Here's the answer. You ready? It's not. The desk is not a mother of a chair. The desk is a friggin' desk and a chair is a chair. But your mind started to think about things, right? Your brain tried to solve it maybe just a little bit, even though it's a ridiculous question, because that's what we do. Our minds are story making machines and they fill in the blank. And when we don't have all the answers, they create these guesses or theories and they spin stories and it feels like the truth. It feels real, important, very urgent, not because it's true, but because it's filtered through a lens, our self concept, how we see ourselves in the world and how we see the world around us. And it's shaped by our past experiences that project into the future. And these past experiences and emotions that are trapped in the body and our insecurities. Now, all of a sudden, you're looping about what you're afraid of happening the most. And I'm going to give you a perfect example. Okay. Right after I got a divorce about 15 years ago, I started dating. I went on Match.com and it was like kind of like a candy store at first. It was, but I went on all these weird dates, like really weird ones. And then I remember this one guy I went out with, and we had great chemistry. We had an amazing first date, great conversation. So he asked me out again, and we had an amazing second date and great chemistry, and he asked me out again. And then right before our third date, he sends me this text, and he said, I have to cancel our date, and I'm going out of town for 2 weeks. And my heart sank. I'm like, oh my God, what did I do wrong? I'm totally spiraling and spinning. I'm like replaying everything in my head. Did I talk too much? Am I too needy? What was I too much? What did I do wrong? Because these are my stories. And, just like a desk is a desk and a chair is a chair, he was out of town. And he did call me from the road, and he's my husband now, and we've been together almost 13 years. So if I had believed that story, I would have ghosted my entire future. But that's what we do, right? We get hijacked, and our brain's designed to fill in the blanks. And when it doesn't know the answer, it just reaches into the past for why. And it's usually built from past experiences that are framed by our self limitations and, this is all designed to protect us, right? From more shame, from more fear, from more pain, because we avoid pain and we move towards pleasure. And so, I don't know, maybe you're sending resumes out, or maybe you're hearing nothing back, or maybe there's silence, or somebody didn't text you back, or suddenly your brain starts looping, I'm not good enough, or I'm too old, or maybe I said something wrong, or whatever that is. The mind is always trying to close the loops, even when it has to make up a story. And then it will make up a story. It'll spin things, it'll shove something in there, even if it's just nothing. And really think about this. What if silence was just plain old friggin' silence? And that's it. Right? But the mind guesses. I have a client of mine, and she came to me and she was freaking out because one of her best friends didn't text her back for a few days, and they were starting a new project, and after the second day her mind was completely looping, and she created this entire movie in her mind that she's mad at me, something must have gone wrong, and she's cutting me off, and she's spiraling out of control. Finally the friend responded, and she was sick, she had laryngitis, so she's not going to call, right? Nothing was wrong except for the roller coaster my client went on. Okay. And so just take a moment. And we all do this. There's nothing to be ashamed of. I mean, think about some of those stories and just see if you can bring it into your awareness, because awareness is how we create change. And so maybe you notice a story where somebody didn't respond in time, or maybe you can't think of a story right now, but if you were to have believed that story, just notice what it feels like to believe the story. And then bring your awareness to your physical body and just feel the sensations without judgment. And just notice we're not observing, we're observing, we're not judging. And I wonder if you can notice these are not just thoughts. Your body is having a response to the thought. It's a feedback loop because it's a trace of old, stuck energy, emotion that was never fully processed because at some point your nervous system never learned that it was safe to let go. And that's what we're doing. We're training the nervous system. And so, whatever you're experiencing or feeling now, it's not the story, it's a pattern because the mind and body is the most powerful computer on the planet. It's a pattern recognition device. And it's a pattern your mind and body learned how to run. That's it. It learned how to run it automatically whenever it gets triggered. And here's the truth, your mind is always listening. And it works like a GPS, in your car, or GPS, and you put in the address. And it doesn't know what's true and what isn't. The imagination feels just as real as what is real. And it follows two things and two things only: the words you say to yourself or aloud, and the images and pictures your mind creates. And that's it. That's all it tracks. And what this means is if you're saying things like, I'm so stressed out, or I'm so tired, or I have no energy, your mind doesn't argue. It doesn't do fact checks. It does the opposite. It goes, you're right. And then it starts scanning for every reason for you to feel tired, stressed out, overwhelmed, to prove that you're right. The mind loves being right. And here's what happens. The more you focus there, the more it expands. It searches for evidence, and the more you're going to find it. It's like when it rains, it pours. When things are good, more good things happen. So when crappy things happen, you're going to find more crappy things if we don't learn how to stop and interrupt the pattern. And so you wind up feeling more tired, more stressed, more stuck, more in your head, because wherever you focus, it expands. And I'll prove it to you. So I don't know if you ever heard this before, but look around right now. Look around your space and see if you can notice everything that's brown, and just take in everything that's brown. Just take a moment and do that. And once you think you really notice everything that's brown, close your eyes. And notice what's blue, which might be a little tricky. It's not that blue isn't there. You could open your eyes. And it's not like you have a memory problem, it's a filtering problem. And this filter is called the reticular activating system. We call it the RAS. It's part of the brain. And the RAS filters things based on what you think about the most. So if you're in lack, if you're thinking, I don't have that partner, or if I don't have that money or that job, that's your filter. That's brown. And you're going to notice everything brown to support the filter. Does this make sense? This is science. This isn't woo-woo shit. This is real. Whatever you think about the most is based on what feels urgent, emotional, or threatening. So if you've been focusing on what's wrong, what's missing, lack, or what might go badly, your brain is basically tuning in. It's like a radio station, and it's tuning into a dial to the channel, and it's tuning everything else out. It's not like good things aren't happening around you. You're just not tuned into them, and you start missing out on the good. You literally tune it out. And if you stay in the loop long enough, what happens is we build this negative momentum. And I'm not here to, have you pretend you can flip on a switch and go from crappy to happy in one big leap. But here's what we can do. We could start asking ourselves, better questions. We can start asking ourselves better questions that allow us to shift our focus. And as a result, the filter can begin to shift. So let me ask you, what have you been focusing on lately? And just notice problems or excitement, possibility. And without judgment, awareness. And just notice. Because where you place your attention most of the time, it becomes a blueprint for your future. And this is very powerful to understand because you can choose to create your own blueprint for your future because it hasn't been made yet. The past does not equal the future. What you did in the past brought you to where you are today, but what you choose to do and how you choose to use your words and focus is what creates your blueprint for your future, which is why it's so important to practice this. And we're going to dive in just a moment. And so if you've been looping in fear and in shame or, in self-doubt, it's not because that's all that's real. It's because it's just the radio station that you've been tuned into. It's the pattern that you've been rehearsing. It's the pattern that's familiar until you break the cycle. It's a pattern that keeps playing until you break it. And it keeps you stuck in negative momentum if you don't catch it early enough. And this isn't a fault. This is your reticular activating system, that tiny filter in your brain. And it's shaping literally how you see your life. It's pretty wild. And it's based on what you focus on and whatever you rehearse in your mind enough, it reinforces. And whatever you expect, it's going to edit. And the moment you shift your focus, well, you start tuning into a different radio station. It's like you have country, you have rap, you have this. And let's say you're listening to rap and you hate rap and you're just like, I hate rap. Doesn't mean there's not all these other radio stations playing music at the same time. What are you tuned into if you think about that old radio, right? So it's a matter of, okay, it could be there, but let's tune in somewhere else, somewhere a little bit easier, softer. Now, here's where it gets kind of tricky. When you try to shift your focus, if you have too much negative momentum built, the emotion is going to drag you right back in. It's kind of like gravity. It's dragging your attention back into worst case scenarios, right? Because when there's too much negative momentum that's built and you're already spinning and you're looping, it feels like, here you are and you're trying to steer, but you've already lost the wheel. There's no wheel. And there's a way out. And we're going to go through this process that I'm going to show you exactly what to do in just a second. Beforehand, I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to share a clip with you. I don't know if anybody has ever seen the movie Shallow Hal with Jack Black. I'm going to just share a real quick clip. So let's see here. Share. Oh gosh. Ah, okay. Well, maybe I can't share it yet. Oh, yeah, here it is. Okay. You can see this, yeah? Okay.
Al Larson, I'm going to do you a great favor. Really? Yeah. Listen, this is how it'll work. From this moment on, whenever you meet someone in the future, you're only going to see what's inside them. So you respond to that because that, my friend, is where the true beauty lies.
Okay, Tony, I think you're getting a little cabin fever. Don't worry.
Oh, wait a second, hold a second. What if I told you by doing this, you could have the most beautiful women in the world and they'd want you?
Is this kind of like what you do in your seminars?
No, this is very special. It's just between you and me. All right, buddy, let's get up and I'll show you what to do.
Yeah.
Now, you got a pattern. You got a pattern of looking at women and judging them by the exterior. We can't talk about it. We got to break that pattern.
All right.
So I want you to ask you, has there been a time when you were like especially shallow, where you looked at a woman, just thought you were better than she was?
All the time.
All the time.
Oh, yeah.
You think of one specific time where you're really shallow?
Oh, yeah. I got one.
Think about that. Ready? No.
What are you doing, banana hands?
Just hang on. Remember I told you we got to jolt your nervous system.
Oh, yeah. I'm
Okay?
sorry.
It's not just talking about it. Now, here's what I want you to do. Just relax for a moment.
All right.
And I won't do that again.
I didn't mean the banana hand.
Okay, I'm going to stop
Close
sharing.
your eyes. Just relax. And I want you to imagine that you're on a beach.
Okay.
It's a warm day and the sun is just starting to set. And you're looking in the eyes of a woman and you're feeling her heart. You're seeing her soul. You're feeling her spirit. That's it. That's it. Excellent.
Okay, so what he did was a pattern interrupt, a physical pattern. So we're going to just do this together and we're going to practice this. And then I'm going to take you and bring you into the hypnosis. Okay. So close your eyes for a moment. And the way we do this is we're gonna, you open your eyes for a second. You're gonna clap your hand. We're gonna say, stop it. I'm going to have you focus on that problem or whatever that you're looping on. But when we create a physical connection with our body, we change our physiology. We create it jars the nervous system out of the head, and then we're going to get into the body. Okay, it's very effective. It feels a little silly at first, but it works. Okay, so close your eyes and see if you can just bring into your awareness, a thought maybe, or a subject matter that's been causing you distress. And something sticky, something repetitive. Maybe it's stressful or discouraging or some what ifs, worst case scenarios, self-doubt. And as you bring this lightly into your awareness, we're going to clap our hands on the count of 3. And I want you to say out loud, because it's more effective, stop it. Okay, so bring that into your awareness just lightly. And here we go. 1, 2, 3, stop it. Good. We're going to do it one more time. Imagine you're drinking a glass of ice cold water. Clean the palate. Bring that disruptive story back into your mind. And now 1, 2, 3, stop it. Good. We're going to do this one more time and drink water. Notice what you had for breakfast. Bring that negative thought loop or subject matter back into your mind. And again, 1, 2, 3, stop it. Good. And now I want you to say this in your mind or aloud. That's just a thought. We're labeling it. It's just a thought. That's just a thought. That's just a thought. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but this isn't just a thought. I really don't have enough money, or I really don't have a job, or I really don't have a partner, or I do feel alone, or maybe my body isn't feeling good, or this isn't a thought, this is my reality. And I want to just acknowledge something. You can open your eyes. Yes, those experiences and what you're experiencing is very real. It's very true, right? It's very valid. But what we forget is that the facts of our life is not what hurts us the most. It's the story that we attach to them that creates suffering. And so maybe the spiral of the thoughts sound like, it's always going to be this way, or nothing's ever going to work out for me, or I'm never going to get out of this, or everything's disappointing. This is the story that creates the suffering. It's not a matter of, not liking what's around you. We want to change. We want to grow. We want to expand. That's great. But it's the story that we tell ourselves. We're not good enough. We're not worthy enough. That causes suffering and to keep us stuck in a victim mentality. And we can't move forward that way. And it's just something we've rehearsed. It's not a fault. It's just familiar. And it's based on fear. And so the fact is, yes, you can feel the pain, but we don't have to fuel the fear, right? You can see the truth of your circumstances. We all can. There's things I want to change. We all have things we want to change, but we don't have to make it a life sentence, right? And that's the difference, because where you have focus, it expands. And if it's a life sentence, if it's going to stay that way, well, now it's expanding and staying that way. And that's where you have power to shift. And when we start shifting our awareness back into our body, something very powerful begins to happen, right? When we start acknowledging the discomfort and the pain, not why, but you are feeling uncomfortable. I am feeling. We stop spiraling and we stop suffering. And instead, we start letting go and we start healing. This is how we release emotion on a cellular level versus draining our energy, crying and just being upset or shoving it down. This drains our energy. And so even if it's just a little bit, you can start reclaiming your power just a little bit at a time. And so we're going to code this in a little bit deeper. And I'm going to have you close your eyes now. and bring that loop that maybe you've been overthinking, the one that's showing up uninvitedly and is hijacking your mood. And we don't need to solve it, just notice it. I'm going to ask you some weird questions about it. And just notice if it's a picture in your mind or a movie, or if it's a voice. And notice if it's a picture, where you see it in your mind. Is it up? Is it down? Is it to the right or the left? Is it far away? Is it close? And see if you can move it. Maybe you could shrink it down or drain all the color out, or maybe you can zoom it far away. And if it's a voice, where do you hear the voice, and whose voice is it? Do you hear it more on the left, the right? Is it your voice? Is it a parent's voice or a teacher's, or whose voice is it? And now imagine you're in an editing room and you could just slow down the speed of that thought. Slow it down. Or you could speed it up, make it really, really fast, like Mickey Mouse. Make it a cartoon, make it absurd. The more absurd you make this inner monologue by choice, the more absurd and ridiculous, the less important it becomes. And notice how you change the meaning of the thought. Because the mind doesn't overthink what's ridiculous, it just moves on. It's no longer urgent. When it's ridiculous sounding like this, you become powerless. Oh my goodness. So let it sound silly and ridiculous. And sooner or later, you're going to start changing your state so that every time you think about this subject, one that's sticky or heavy or resistant, you could just change the way it sounds. And then ask yourself, you ready? The story I'm telling myself is, or what I'm afraid of most is, and fill in the blank. So you just identify it. Doesn't mean you keep it. It means you're identifying something that you are ready to let go of. Maybe you're ready to let go if things don't work out for me, or things are always disappointing, or I'm not good enough, or the world isn't safe, or I'm too old, or there's not enough out there, or I'm not enough, there's no work, or things are always disappointing, or I'm always messing up, or I've lost so much time. Whatever it is, name it. And when you do, you create space from it. And in that space, you begin to reclaim your power. Because here's what, you don't have to believe everything your mind tells you. You're not the voice. You're the awareness. You're the one who hears it. You're not the voice. You're the consciousness, the conscious awareness of the voice, which means you can choose a new response. You can write a whole new script. You can start rehearsing a whole new role, one that actually fits who you're choosing to become right now. And it starts right here. And just let that land for a moment. Let it sit there and breathe. Because suddenly you're beginning to notice it's not the truth. It's not you. It's just a story. It's just a pattern. It's a program. And now you're the one interrupting it. And as you scan your body from the top of your head all the way down to the tips of your toes, you can notice where you might feel that thought in your body. Whether it's tightness in the chest or a grip in the throat, just bring your awareness to it without having to really fix anything. Nothing's broken. You can loosen your shoulders as you just breathe in. Because what you just did was the first step of this 6-part process that I call Stop It. And unlike my mom, Marcia, who just left me hanging, just stop. We're going to fill in the blanks, and I'm going to walk you through each of the steps so that your mind and body, your nervous system, knows exactly what to do when it spirals. So that every moment of tension, it just becomes this invitation to take back your power in your mind, your body, your thoughts. It becomes your cue to stop it. And so here's the sequence. S is stop this story. And I'll make sure everybody gets this. Get out of your head. Stop the stories in your head. Stop it. And T, tune into the tension in your body instead. O, observe and oxygenate and just breathe. Breathing in, breathing out. And P, give yourself permission to feel it, to identify it, to label it, and to let go of it. Maybe you say, I'm giving myself permission to let go of this story. Because once we do this, and once we let go, we move on to the word it and I. We access our inner wisdom, inner resources. And then T, thank. Thank yourself for showing up for yourself. Thank the emotion for the messages that it brings. Now, this is what it stands for. Now we're going to integrate it and fully go through the process. But you don't have to really listen to this consciously. So all I want you to do is just notice, if you were to allow your eyeballs to roll up underneath your eyelids, you could keep your eyeballs rolled up, and if you blink, every time you blink, you're just becoming more relaxed. It's almost like you're looking in between your eyebrows underneath the lids, because what we're doing is we're recreating the learning state. It's called the theta brainwave state. When we roll the eyeballs up, it's kind of like when somebody drifts into a deep sleep. And we're just doing this automatically. So roll those eyeballs up, take a deep breath in as you exhale all the way out. Good. Breathing in, just like that. Exhale all the way out. And every exhale, you're just allowing yourself to relax even deeper now. And as you just notice, allowing yourself to drift freely, freely floating, as you just get comfortable right now, and you're just listening to my voice, and you're noticing your breathing that happens all by itself, just like your heart beats without you having to do any work. There's a part of your mind that's already doing all the work, so you don't need to listen to this consciously. It's perfectly fine if you drift in and out, or you may hear every word that I say, which is fine if you do. And you can notice each word, like the word can slow down. Now, this is not like sleep. It's more like daydreaming or creating a calm, creative space where change just begins to happen naturally and easily, and you can allow your shoulders to drop, body to soften. You already did the hardest part. You showed up. Now you could kick back and allow your mind to do what it does best. You can relax. Your body already knows how to let go. So in your mind's eye, I want you to imagine, get a sense of a symbolic staircase. There's 10 steps going down, and it's in front of you. And at the bottom of the steps is a wonderful place. It's very safe, where you're really free to let go. And imagine you're standing at the top of these 10 steps, so that with every step, it's almost like you look down and you get a feeling of looking over a balcony. So right now you're looking down and you're ready to go deeper down into a deep part of yourself. And as you step from 10 to 9, every nerve, every muscle just turns loose. It lets loose as you're stepping on step 8. Relaxing even more. I'll click my fingers like this. You just go deeper and deeper. If you choose, you're in complete control over how relaxed you'd like to feel and become. At step 7, you're just growing even more comfortable, more relaxed, going deeper and deeper into an awareness of yourself. At step 6, now at 5, every nerve turns loose, lets loose. And I wonder if you could double that sense of relaxation now at 4, so that at 3, you can allow yourself to drift even deeper, sink deeper, drift deeper, float deeper. At deeper and deeper, every nerve lets loose, and you relax even further. At 5, 4, 3, now at 2, 1, even deeper now. Just notice you're in a very safe place where you're real free to let go. It's very safe, where you're free to relax and just see what you see and hear what you hear, feel what it feels like. Allowing all the images to come forward just freely and naturally, comfortably. And as you go in even deeper now, I want you to remember something very important. Your mind and body are controlled by a network of intelligence, and that intelligence is influenced completely by your mind. And you can just imagine floating and resting in this network of intelligence right now. Because in this state we call hypnosis, relaxation, something really wonderful happens. Your mind starts to send new messages to the body. It begins to interpret the messages from the body, maybe a little differently. And then you have, of course, the critical voice that goes, not going to work, never going to work. And that part shuts everything all down. So you have these 3 things happening simultaneously. You got messages going in, coming out, they're improving, and the feedback coming in is being reinterpreted. And then there's that resistance, that part that you've silenced. And just notice you don't have to make anything happen. Just notice what happens when you stop trying. When your body starts to regulate, you start to restore, and you just start to return to yourself again. Because you've done enough thinking. You could just let your nervous system take the lead. You don't have to figure it out. And you are allowed to rest. Even if your mind keeps going, your body knows how to soften and slow down. Because in this moment, there's nothing to fix. There's just space to breathe. And in this space, you can allow yourself to feel safe in your body again. And as you just continue to drift, well, maybe it's comforting to notice that a part of your mind already knows how to learn, even without knowing that it's learning. It's like when you learned how to walk, how to talk, how to write your name. At one point, you didn't even notice that your hand was your hand, but then you learned your hand was connected to your arm, and there you are writing your name. When your conscious mind lets go, the more you let go right now, the easier it is to learn what's most important today, right now, in a new way, because they're just patterns. Patterns of thinking, of doing. And sometimes it's not that we're broken or something's wrong with us, it's just that our nervous system never learned what safety feels like. Just learned how to stay on high alert or how to expect the worst. But just because it's a pattern that we needed back then, it doesn't mean we need it now. And the truth is, you could teach your nervous system safety. And it can learn calm. And you can teach it with consistency, and with kindness, fairness. Because that's what we're doing here. We're rewiring the old loops, and we're going to rehearse new ones so that sooner or later it just feels second nature. It's not about something that happens to you, it's something that you do. And what you do, you can learn to do differently. And as you just continue breathing slowly and deeply, just each breath soothing your body, calming the mind. Here's something I want you to remember. Overthinking is not who you are, it's just a habit. It's a habit that can change. And when you choose to respond differently, you notice different outcomes. Negatives, they only have power over you when you focus on them, when you react to them, but you're learning the benefits of what you've already begun learning already. And the more you notice you could shift your attention to your physical body, the less attention to your thoughts you'll find, the more attention you give yourself to become something just easily done naturally in the exact right way that's just right for you. Because most people, they've been feeding that fire for years, not with their thoughts, but with an old story, a story their nervous system may cling to. It's a story that you may have rehearsed so many times that begins to feel like your identity that's just getting in the way. So I wonder if you could bring that awareness back to that story that has been looping in the background. Maybe it's a voice that says it always ends up this way, or I'm not good enough, or it's just who I am. I don't know. But I wonder if you could see it now, not as the truth, but as a pattern, an outdated script that you're just rehearsing on autopilot. That's all. In your mind's eye. You could even hold it in your hand, like you're holding this old, tethered script weighing you down in your hands. And go ahead, flip through the pages and notice all the scenes in your past that you just rehearsed that no longer served you. Maybe you notice scenes that were soaked in self-doubt, or scenes in fear, moments where you felt like you weren't good enough. And just one by one, again, rip them out of the script, that old script. Just rip them out. Rip out those pages. We're not doing those pages in this scene anymore. Just rip them out one by one. You don't need them. They're not you. They're not who you are. They never were you. They're just something you rehearsed that felt familiar. And you can rip them out one by one. You could just tear them all out, tear each and every scene from the past that you don't need anymore, and just rip them out. And once you've gone up and down your entire life, ripping all those scenes out, maybe it's the entire script, but keep the stuff that serves you. Just notice in the script, there's bunches of blank pages that we get to fill in a moment. But first, take all of those scenes that you've ripped out. You don't need them around anymore. And just imagine there's a fire, and you're crumbling up those pages and just throw them into the fire, each one by one. And the flames flicker softly, almost like they've been waiting. And as you throw those pages into the fire, not with judgment, but with a deep understanding and with compassion, and you can let go of those pages, those scenes, throw it into the flames. Just notice the ink melting, it fades, the pages curl, the smoke. With each breath, the story just becomes smoke. Maybe there's a window or a door you can open. And as the smoke clears out with a breeze, you just notice with every breath, that story becomes smoke, rising, dissolving, clearing, returning to nothing, because it's never who you were. It's not who you are. It's just a script, part you played, a pattern that you survived, a pattern you've outgrown. And just feel the space that opens inside of you right now. Notice the space where that story used to live. And maybe what you want to fill with it instead. Maybe it's a new truth, a new calm, a deeper love for who you're becoming. And just let it come, let it settle in. Because you've just created space from the story. And you can tune into that place, and maybe you notice your shoulders and your chest, your belly beginning to soften, and notice the tension, if there's any you're still holding on to. We're not trying to get rid of it. And just breathe with it. And let it be there with you. Nothing's wrong with you. You're not broken. You're just rewiring a new pattern that serves you. And if you can bring your awareness to any tension in your body or resistance or any fear, if it had a voice, what would it say? And just listen. And listen to that part. Maybe it says, I have to stay alert. Or maybe it says, it's not safe to let go. Or maybe it says, I'm afraid of what happens if I don't stay in control. And allow that part to speak, whether it's through images and pictures, or whether it's through words or feelings and sensations. And as you give that part kindness and unconditional love, you can really see it for what it is. It's not a problem. It's not a flaw. It's just a pattern that was created by a part of you that never learned differently. And I wonder what it might be like if you were to say to that part, I'm so sorry, please forgive me for judging you as what? And fill in that blank. Because the truth is, it's not your fault. That part is just doing the best it could, never learned differently. It's just doing whatever it does to meet a need or to protect. We don't need to judge those things we call our shortcomings or tactics or behaviors that we want to change or we don't even admit we do. We could be fair with ourselves and be kind. Maybe you let that part know gently, I see you, I'm here with you. And if it feels right, maybe you put your hand on the part of your body or your heart and just let it know you're not trying to make it go away. You're just letting it know that they're not alone and that they're safe. And that part doesn't have to do all the heavy lifting. It doesn't have to hold all the tension anymore. And just observe and breathe as you exhale all the way out. Each breath soothing the body, calming the mind, exhaling, softening. You're not here to fix anything. You're just creating space and reminding yourself nothing's broken. And who you really are already is enough. And just observe the part that may have held the tension as you breathe into that space. Breathing in and breathing out so that each and every sign of overthinking becomes your cue to stop the story in your head. Tune into your body instead. Notice the tension and then, oxygenate while you give yourself permission and imagine what it's like when you say to yourself, I give my body permission to let go. Maybe you use your name in second person. If I were to say it, I'd say, Carolyn, you have every right to feel this way. You have permission to let go. And then I would let go. But just notice. Because every time you resist an emotion, it gets stored. It's much easier to give yourself permission instead. Emotions are simply energy in motion. They're not flaws, they're your body having a response. And there's no shame for your body having a response, is there? That response is just a pattern that was learned. Made sense back then. And just take a breath. Ask yourself, what have you been holding on to that no longer serves me? And I wonder what emotion I've been pushing down or pretending isn't there. And just notice its energy. That's it. It's energy, emotion, energy and motion. And now you're bringing it to the surface, just letting it be there without trying to get rid of it, but just allowing it. This is where real change takes place. We're not forcing anything. And ask yourself what you might be willing to let go of. And just notice that it's safe. You're creating safety in your nervous system right now. Now, sometimes our inner wisdom gets buried underneath the weight of an emotion, and it's hard to tap into that so quickly. But sometimes it's easier if we just notice this problem in a new way. So bring that problem and notice that loop that you want to interrupt or get rid of. And just notice that old story. And as you continue breathing slowly and deeply each breath, soothing your body, calming your mind, as you bring that problem back into your awareness, I wonder if you can notice what might be good about the problem. It's kind of an interesting way of looking at it. Maybe something that you haven't noticed yet. Bring that problem. What might be good about the problem? See if you can find a few things. And I wonder how this problem might help you grow. Maybe it's stretching you to learn a new skill, or maybe it's calling forward a strength. And it's shaping a wiser, stronger version of you. And I wonder if you can imagine somebody you really admire, somebody wise, who's really grounded and resilient. Maybe it's your higher self. And gently float outside your body and float in to them, embody them right now. Your higher self, or somebody you admire, somebody good at problem solving, wise. And look through those eyes, their eyes. Look at the world from their point of view and see what you see, hear what you hear, and feel what it feels like as you notice your problem. And just notice what's different, looking through a different set of eyes. And from this point of view, notice a more energizing lens that you can just try on just for today. Maybe one that uplifts you instead of drains you. And you don't have to force anything. You could notice the smallest shift might be a signal. And now notice what's something you might be willing to start doing differently so that you problem solve, or so that you create something new or a new possibility for yourself. What would you be willing to start doing differently? And just like you have that scene right there on a screen in front of you, using your Avid, or if that's what it's called, your software, just see the scene played out. Hear it, see it, feel it. This is what creates a blueprint, what you see, hear, and feel, smell, and taste. This is how you code in your future. So see what you see, hear what you hear, feel what it feels like as you mentally rehearse playing the role of what you might be willing to start doing differently, and set a new neural pathway. Insert this scene into the movie called Your Life. And once you've done so, just notice another scene there. And we don't need this. We're going to edit this scene. This is what you might be willing to stop doing. Bring into your awareness something that you might be willing to do and stop doing it. And I want you to see this scene now played out, but reverse it, in reverse. Hear it backwards, see it backwards, feel it going backwards. And just say to yourself, I don't do that anymore. and just like you're just editing that scene right out. You could hear it right out, rewinding. Because you just are beginning to give your reticular activating system, your GPS mind, new directions. This is how you begin to change what you see, not because the world around you changes, but because you're changing your relationship with the world. You're changing how you notice things. And just breathe. Now, from this deep centered place right now, I wonder if you can bring your awareness back to your heart. And I wonder if there was a moment or a time where you felt real grateful. Or maybe it was somebody who was grateful for something you did that you helped him move through. And bring yourself into that scene right now and put that scene, make the images and pictures real vivid, brighten it up, make that hue real bright, colorful, make the sounds rich, the feelings real strong, turn up all the dials, really make this bright and the feelings strong. And put it right into the center of your heart. And if this were a color, what color would it be? First color that comes to mind is gratitude, colorful appreciation. And notice this vibrant, colorful light of gratitude spreading all around and through, almost like you're taking in a breath of oxygen, and the oxygen goes to the lungs, and the lungs bring all of that oxygen, pumps it to the heart, and then it travels through the blood to each and every cell. Bring this light with that oxygen to each and every cell of your body. Oxygenate and brighten up each and every cell of your entire being with gratitude, love, and appreciation right now, so that you become this state of being right now. Because gratitude is more than just writing down what you're grateful for. It's a state of being. It's a feeling. It's a state of coherence. And allow this light to expand beyond your body, this feeling to extend in front of you, behind you, above and below, 10 feet, so that with every exhale out, that beautiful, good feeling extends 20 feet, and now 30 feet, 40 feet. It's just growing, expanding, and share it with somebody who really needs it. And share this wonderful, colorful light with someone who needs it right now. Like it could just travel all the way there. Breathing in and breathing out, noticing you're becoming more grounded, more centered, more at ease, even when things feel uncertain. From this moment forward, a deeper calm is rising within you. Your nervous system is adjusting so that every time you notice yourself overthinking, you just stop and redirect yourself inward. Notice the tension. And as you breathe slowly back into your center, it's not about why you are feeling this way. Give yourself permission to feel the sensations as it leaves your body. And the more you practice this, the more it becomes clear, because your worth has never been dependent on doing more. It's always been something you just simply need to remember, not to earn. I'm going to bring you up and out in a moment, so that when things start to spin, you're just learning how to return to your center. Every breath is a chance to just pause, to reset and breathe. You're not your thoughts. You're the awareness of your thoughts. You're the awareness of the stories that you no longer need to hold on to and defend. It's 0 with a deep and cleansing breath as we begin to come up and out. Noticing your hands, your fingers and toes every day, and every way your nerves become stronger and steadier. Your mind is calmer, it's clear, more peaceful, more at ease. And you just begin to see things in their true perspective. Feeling calmer, more clear. So that at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, noticing the room and space around you, wiggling your hands, your fingers and toes, opening your eyes now at 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, eyes open, wide awake. And welcome back. And just give me a thumbs up or something to let me know you're back with us. Good, good. So what we did here was just the beginning. I just want to remind you that we don't go to the gym once and expect a six-pack, right? This is a practice. And the more you practice, the easier it becomes. You didn't learn how to ride a bicycle in a day. You practiced. You wobbled on and on, off, right? So just have grace on yourself. Be kind. And I'll open this up for any questions. And if you want to make this practice easier, go to my website. It's carolynbarnes.com. I'll put it in the chat. And there's a free audio. If you haven't downloaded it yet, do it, because you just kick it on. It's less than 15 minutes, or it's 15 minutes. And you listen to that right before you go to bed. You're going to rewire stuff. It's really good. It's free. And you'll just condition yourself. It'll help you sleep. It's good stuff. So does anybody have any questions?